Hello. So today I want to talk about the ether. What is the ether? It's kind of like everything that's up in the cloud, up in your mind, or for example, in the digital world, you can think of it as what is in the digital world, like for example, YouTube videos or information flowing through the internet. That's all up in the cloud, up in the ether. Like what it is essentially, it's electric potentials in the transistors, which create a signal or no signal, which is a one or a zero. So it's kind of like electricity, it's all electricity. And um, in our brains, our neurons, it's also electricity. They work with electricity, electric signals. So that's basically what the ether is. So one of the things I wanted to talk about uh, is, for example, when you open up your bank account and you see these numbers, that's the ether. It's all numbers on the screen, and it's all digital. Your bank account information, like the amount of funds you have in there, it's basically just an information that the bank keeps. And when you do transfers or when you purchase things, it's all information that goes from one place to another place, and that's all in the ether. So for example, if you want to make the numbers go up, we do stuff in the physical world. So the ether impacts what we do in the physical world. So the two are kind of connected, you see. Um, so there's also another way that we can make changes to the ether. That's kind of like a direct change to the ether. So for example, with money is uh, people do investments, like they invest in stocks or in the markets, and that's like all in the ether. They transfer funds from one place to another, and then the value rises or drops down, and then they transfer back funds to themselves, and um, that's all like a direct impact. They play with the ether itself, you see. um, so I wanted to give that analogy because it's kind of it's very, I would say, visceral, because uh, it impacts kind of like all of us, so we can all relate to it. But here's another example. So for example, teachers or professors, when they teach, they also play with the ether, because what they do is they expand knowledge. They expand what's in the cloud, what's in their minds. They expand it to the students. So uh, they manipulate the ether by expanding it, and that's where the uh, creation comes in. So next thing, what is power? Power is being able to pull stuff from the ether into the real world. And not the real world, but like into the physical world, because the ether is also real, just like the video you're watching is real. Um, so from the ether into the physical world. Um, so let's say you're like a sheikh somewhere in the Middle East, and you decide to build a road, or you decide to make a building somewhere. So you make a decision that's in the ether, that's in your mind, and everything follows through. And then 3 months later, the thing you wanted built is there. That's power. But now, another example of something more relatable, because we're not all sheikhs, of course. A sculptor. A sculptor sees a stone, and he has an image of what he wants to create. he projects it onto the stone, and then he starts chiseling away, and there comes the statue. So the sculptor is like a direct link, a direct bridge from the ether to the physical world. And then another example, regular people. So regular people, what can they think? That's the ether. And what can they do? That's the physical world. So those things are connected. How you think impacts what you do, and what you do impacts how you think. So it's linked. The ether is linked to the physical world directly. So what can regular people like me and you, what can we do is we can hold each other accountable, hold ourselves accountable um, of what changes have we made and where throughout the day, on a daily basis or weekly basis, or however you want to do it. Where did we make the change? Did we make the change in the ether, or did we make the change in the physical world and what we do? So we can kind of track the changes we make, the rate of change of the things we do or the things we think, and we can ask ourselves, okay, today did I make a change here, or did I make a change there? And fun fact, the symbol for the rate of change in science, like math and physics and all that, is it's a triangle. It's a triangle, and also in some religions, the divinity can be expressed as a triangle. So in science, rate of change is triangle, and in religion, divinity, triangle. So yeah, then I'm gonna give you some practical examples. Um, so, for example, a fitness journey is from the ether, like you have a vision of what you want to look like, and then you take action into the physical world, and all that is a rate of change. So you change stuff in the physical world to go to your vision, and by doing this change, this rate of change, you get kind of like fun out of it. You know, you feel happy that you're molding yourself to be what you want to be, you know, by doing the fitness transformation. Another example is solving a problem. So in our minds, like in the ether, we can see stuff in a perfect way, like we can see perfectly how things should be. But then we see in the real world something is off. It's not like how we see it in the ether. And we can map that difference, and we can solve the difference, solve the problem. Um, and then like that we can make a change. And we intuitively know that um, the ether and the physical world are linked, because we know that if we can tweak how we think, we can make a change and impact in our life. So that's why we read like success books or self-realization books, or we decide to watch a video. And then the last thing I wanted to touch upon is when we make a wish. So we decide we want to wish for something, and we say, okay, I want this to happen, or I want that to happen, or I want this or that. It's, in my opinion, it's better if we wish for what is in the ether to be brought forth into what is in the physical. Because when we wish this way, we're already kind of like, we're already halfway there, you know, because the ether is halfway there already to the physical. You see? Because they're both real. The ether is real and the physical is real. So if we wish to bring forth the ether into the physical, it's like a more powerful way to wish for things. So yeah, that's my main concept for today that I wanted to discuss. As always, thank you for watching. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.